Welcome back to the King of Hearts podcast by me, Chiara King. And this episode, we have my besties. We have Max and Andrew, my favorite couple ever. They are my favorites. I love them so much. I aspire to be them. And they're here to talk about their love story. And I know you all want to hear it. I want to hear it as well. So let's get right into it. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the King of Hearts podcast. And I'm here with the creators of the name of the King of Hearts.
The minds behind the
Was
magic.
actually, it was just me, just like to throw it out there. It was,
Oh, was
it was
it?
my
Have you
idea.
told, I
Did
know
you say
you,
about
you
that?
told this, didn't you say something in your first episode?
I did.
Yeah, she did shout us
Yeah,
out.
we were literally in a taxi in Las Vegas and we were trying to come up with a name for your podcast and Andrew said
Yeah.
King of Hearts.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Love,
Yeah.
Chiara King.
And I was like, I will take it.
Yeah.
I will take it.
I mean, I personally remember it in that I came up with the name and then every time I've said that, Andrew's got really
Well,
annoyed
you
at
would,
me.
wouldn't you? Because
Well, no,
you're
I
an
think I just
narcissist. It's already a therapy session. I, feel
I
it
know.
coming
Well,
out.
I mean, you are, I must admit, my favorite couple.
You
and
have
that
to
is
say
why.
that because we're here.
No. Genuinely, you're never going to break up, even in the future
I hope
lifetimes.
not. We've got a house now,
Yeah,
so we're locked
that'd
in
be
for
quite
life.
awkward. But
Well,
yeah.
that's why I wanted to bring you on. That you need to teach me a bit about.
Well,
How to
Chiara,
secure a
Amazing
man.
you
relationship.
are my favourite woman on this couch. So,
Fuck you.
so
On this
anything
couch,
for
right,
you, Miss
thanks.
King. No, I
Okay.
adore you. I literally adore you. I'm so
I think
happy to
you're
be
alright.
here.
You're
Oh,
fine.
well, thanks for coming on to the King of Hearts podcast.
Oh my
Thank you for
God.
having us.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
This week's episode, obviously, we have Max and Andrew.
Woo!
And they are here to talk about themselves.
Yay!
And
Favourite topic.
gonna say
Literally
your
just talk
favourite
about
topic.
yourself all day, every day, but especially in the next half an hour, 45
Okay.
minutes. Just
Love that.
all about you guys, how you met, all about relationships and dating, and also dating before you met. I want to know
Oh,
what
it's
that
gonna
was
get
like,
juicy then.
dating red flags, like what's your worst date you had? What's your biggest red flag that you like actively decided to look past? But we're going to
Okay.
talk all about this. But firstly, I want to talk about our controversial quote of the week. So, controversial quote of the week. And I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this. I don't even know if I agree with this, but I just thought it was quite controversial to talk about. You can only get over someone by getting under someone else.
Oh.
What do you
I
think about
disagree.
that? Really?
Yeah, because I remember everyone telling me that after my last boyfriend. They were like, you need to shag someone else. Yeah. Yeah, my true love. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm actually just not going to sleep with anyone. So I didn't sleep with anyone for like, I'd say like 8 months. I
Wow.
know, which for me is a long
But the
time.
thing is that wasn't out of
Fucking hell.
choice. No one wanted to sleep with him.
Okay, I
Oh,
get
okay.
that. I get
Whereas,
that.
like,
you know.
when I broke up with my first boyfriend, actually, I slept with somebody different every day for a week.
And you told me
I
that.
actually
No,
did.
you
You told me
didn't.
I
that
actually did.
when we first started dating. Do you remember
How
you told me
was
that? And I was like,
that?
red flag.
Well, it was horrible. I was
It was
literally like
horrible.
19
Did you like
years
force
old.
yourself?
No, I was so depressed. So I met my first ever boyfriend when I went to uni in Bristol. And I met him very early into my, like 2 days into my uni experience.
So you like latched on.
I latched on, didn't make any
comfort.
friends, messed my whole experience up, ended up dropping out of uni. But when we broke up, like a few months in, because obviously I thought it was going to last forever, didn't.
Oh,
Lasted
God.
like 3 months.
Shit.
I was like devastated, and I was just like, right, I have nothing else to do. May as well just sleep with people, see what that's like.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Yeah.
A few
I mean, it was
STDs
quite
later.
successful. No, I didn't get any STDs. I was doing safe sex. I
Safe
was having a great
sex.
time.
Love that.
And then,
Advocating for
literally,
that.
my 8th person that I met became my next boyfriend.
8th,
8th,
Not-
7th.
7th.
Well, every day for a week, and then on
So
the last
on the
day,
holy
I
day,
shouldn't
you
shame, I
decided
shouldn't shame.
this one is the one.
What is it? On the 7th day, God created the sea. On
You-
the 7th day, I found a boyfriend.
Matt's got
Right.
gonorrhea.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so that's great. And then how long
Yeah.
did you date that holy?
For like a year.
A
That was like
year?
that was like my first like proper boyfriend, I'd say.
Okay.
And then-
Did you ever have time where you've like been single?
Yeah.
Not much for you.
I
I've
mean-
had spots.
Yeah, you have.
I had
more
2
so.
years.
I mean,
was
we're
single for
both
2 years
Oh, I've
Capricorns,
never been
maybe
single
that's
for 2
why.
years, yeah.
Do you think we like latch like we just like going from relationship to
so.
relationship?
Well, the person
You're
that I was
needy.
with,
You
I
are.
am.
I'm
Yeah.
needy.
Yeah.
We know.
I need-
Oh, we know that you
We know,
are.
we've
We
seen.
know that
I
you
need
are.
validation, okay? Okay, right?
I feel like you're the same a bit, Max.
I'm
Yeah.
just,
I
feel
I'm
like you
just
just
an
need
attention
someone there.
whore.
I do. Well, the person
Yeah.
that I was with before Andrew, I was with him for like a year, but it was never like official, and it was very like on and off. So I guess that counts as like my long. But and before I met him, I was kind of single for like a little under a year. Or was I? I don't
No,
know.
I don't
you know,
think
I
you
was
were.
because I broke up with my second. I don't know. I've had so many boyfriends, Chiara. Everyone wants me.
It's
It's
Tiny
like
bit
And
you
do you know
are
what?
in popular
Like,
demand.
it is what it is.
But now you're
now.
off the market.
I am. And
You
this,
are
I
officially with the love of your
genuinely-
life.
I never thought that I would be in a relationship as stable and as long as this one.
And
ever.
how
Aw.
was it even like? So I want to know. Let's start from the beginning. How? Because maybe you guys don't know, but how did you meet?
Grinder. No, I'm joking. No, listen. We met on
Back alley.
Hinge. It was
on Hinge.
lockdown.
Right, right.
And yeah, we matched on Hinge. Max was living up in his hometown.
Living
he
at
had
large.
he had it set to London, so it said he lived in Fulham. So I was like, ooh.
I was trying to find a rich man.
And then
Okay.
he
Didn't work.
He
but
settled
here
for
we are.
me. Yeah. I was jobless at the time. So,
That's fine.
But yeah, we matched, and I remember we spoke like that entire day back and forth. You know, when it's like usually people kind of leave it a few hours in between each message, but we were literally just like back and forth. And you actually made me laugh over text, which I thought was quite impressive
Wow.
because not
Very
many people.
funny.
Because
could do
usually
that.
when you lol, it's not really.
it
You're
just
not
kinda
actually like
But
lol.
you were actually funny.
I'm very intelligent and
Wow.
very humorous.
Amazing.
indeed.
You just-
And then,
But
and
yeah,
then
it was the
wait,
Christmas lockdown, if you remember
Yeah.
that one, where like
2021.
yeah, where they were randomly like, London is zone 6, you cannot move, you cannot blink, otherwise you're gonna get arrested.
Okay.
So then I fled up to the north
You
to be
fled.
with my family. Didn't realize I was going to be there for like 3 months. So set my
hell.
Hinge to London, where I originally where I lived at that time. Before that, because I was like, I'm going to come back to London. I want to
Okay,
meet
so
someone.
keep it in
But we
London.
had to speak online for like
3 months.
didn't we? Over 2 months.
yeah, and we hadn't even called, no voice
We didn't-
notes.
I
Just
am
no
very-
messaging for
FaceTime,
2 months.
Just
Thing
messaging.
is, I am very picky in that, like, I knew that I liked him, and over message.
Picky and you settled for me. That's
No,
embarrassing, isn't
like
it?
picky about like the dating process. Like, I was never the person that would match someone on an app or like meet them via Instagram or something and just talk for like a month. I need to
Yeah,
meet
same.
you instantly, see if there's a connection in person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not wasting my time.
would
No,
usually do the
same. I
same.
wouldn't
I feel
waste my
like-
time. But
feel
it's
like
COVID.
what-
You know,
We
I feel
did-
like
we
it was
didn't
a
have a
different
choice. We
time.
needed
Yeah.
just to fill our time with something.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really
Just-
meet
we
up.
were just
so
all
we
bored. Yeah.
Exactly. So we
like-
we ended up really talking for a long time. And
Intensely.
and I didn't want to ruin it by like the awkwardness of like a FaceTime call is too much for me. Whereas
Did you ever ask, like, shall we FaceTime?
No, I didn't.
Did you not?
No, I categorically did not want to do a FaceTime because I know I would get the ick from something just
Yeah.
small over. I feel like
Okay.
sometimes it doesn't catch your angles very
You
well.
can't have a naturally flowing conversation. It's like you start to speak. Oh no, sorry, you
The
go.
internet-
Yeah, and
Your
you're both
internet
nervous, so you
connection.
Yeah.
overshare.
His
I'll be like,
internet
it's too
connection
much.
at home is awful as well,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it would have just kept like, bugging out, and then it's awkward because you don't know each other.
And I was like, I really like him. I can tell that I do, but I'd
Oh.
rather wait to like really dive into it until we meet in person.
And then when you
So,
met,
yeah,
how was
when
that?
we met, oh my god, first date, we literally went to, well, you planned
Oh,
it. loose
look at
terms.
Andrew.
Yeah, we couldn't really do much.
So
to be fair,
cute.
so
So you went
made
on a
do.
walk in the park?
We
No,
went and met
well.
up. We met up
You think so?
at a bench by
in-
London Bridge.
Okay.
And
I-
had a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, I went to
together.
Tesco.
Stop it, not a Glens, please.
Literally,
it was a
pretty much, it
Smirnoff.
was a
Oh,
Smirnoff.
it was a Smirnoff.
He,
Much better.
he got the fancy
You just
bottle.
were downing Smirnoff.
No, we
Well,
weren't
I
down
said,
in it.
I
It was
said
like
to
a
him,
date.
I'll pick up a bottle of wine. He went, I only really drink wine with lemonade. I went, oh.
No, vodka with
Well,
lemonade.
I'm 21 at this point. Like I'm like a young.
But you still drink
stir.
vodka lemonade.
Yes, and
You are now 25.
Yeah. Hey.
We moved on to lime sodas, I bet.
Yeah, maybe at a push. But like, I was 19 when COVID started, and then when like I started to come out of it, I was 21, so I still hadn't really like got to do many like fun things.
Yeah, because we're the same age. So it
Exactly.
was like,
I still felt quite like infantile, even though
Yeah.
I was like 21. So we're going on a date, and all that we can do is meet up outdoors at London Bridge. So I'm like, okay, like let's just have a drink and like let's make it what we can. He shows up with a bottle of vodka. I'm like, get in.
yeah.
Bizarre. First of all, also, I have no money at this point, so I'm like, oh my god, he paid for
I had
the
no
vodka.
money too, to
Like
be
that's
fair.
so cool.
Probably borrowed that money off my mum.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. But then yeah, we just sat and spoke for like I'd say like 4 or 5 hours outside.
So it was like
Was that-
instant
yeah.
connection.
Well, we
Yeah.
already knew so much about each other, so I was worried that we were going
Okay.
to
We'd
meet
run out of
and
things
have
to
nothing
say.
to say. but that wasn't the case.
Because
at all.
you spoke about yourself a good portion. I'd say if we were there for 5 hours, for about 4 of them, he was just talking about himself.
And I'm sure you loved it.
I loved every second.
Yeah,
I was
fine.
interested. It was lovely. And then we went back to yours and shagged. End of
we
story.
did.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I lived
And
alone at the
happily
time.
ever after.
Yeah, he was isolating, so it was fine. You
Yeah.
know, COVID-wise.
So then you basically just lived together after that point.
Literally, pretty much. Like, he was round at mine all the time. I had like
Wow.
this because it was COVID. I managed to get a really good deal on like a rent flat, and I
your
actually
place
did
was
live in
quite nice.
Fulham, so it was like good because I still worked full time at that point. So like I'd go like do my job during the day, and then I'd come home, and then he would be there waiting for me. So it was great.
Be there with open arms.
Yes, open
legs
arms.
and
Waiting
open
by the
mouth.
door, watching him at the window,
Yes, it's great.
salivating. And then
then, yeah.
did you move in like immediately?
No, so I was working full time. Social media hadn't taken off for me at that point. When I met him, I probably had like 200,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I had no ambition of like making it my job or
No,
anything.
same. Like
At all. It just kind of organically happened. So from meeting him to we met in what, February 28th, 2021. Is that right? Yeah, he remembers all the dates. I don't, because I've got better
Oh.
things to do. No, I'm joking.
Okay, rude.
And so I was still an intern in central London. My internship finished in June of that year, and I was like posting TikToks on the side. As soon as between us meeting and it becoming the end of my internship, I'd got 1 million followers.
yeah.
So then literally that same weekend.
I was there for the come up.
Yeah,
You
that
were
I
same-
always
there
say I'm not a gold
right
digger.
before.
I was there before he blew up.
And then it became my job like literally overnight, and that internship ended. So then I actually went back to Newcastle to finish my degree. So he stayed
Did
in
you actually
London.
finish it?
No.
Okay.
Did he fuck?
Tried.
No, so I went.
Attempted.
I had the summer with you, didn't I, in London? And I was like starting to do influencing, stuff like that. And then I went to go and finish my final year of my degree, but then it started to really take off, and I was getting lots of like interviewing
Yeah.
opportunities to come down to London.
Yeah.
So I was in your
So
family home.
so I still live with my parents, and then he would come. You come weekly,
So
basically.
were you doing like long distance then?
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
to
for
be
a
fair,
bit.
it didn't feel like it because
I would come. I came up a few times. He would come down literally every week.
every single week,
out
'cause I had
live out of
different
the suitcase
opportunities.
in my little room in my parents' house. And you felt so bad about it because you're like, I don't want to encroach on their space. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah,
But
it
you'd
was
never even
horrible.
come downstairs because you're like, don't want to affect everyone
Well,
else's
because
living
it was
situation.
so, because I've like just met this boy, and then I'm in his family home all the time. I
Yeah.
felt like I was just like
Basically just pushed into the deep end.
literally like,
immediately.
and it was I just felt like really bad, but I was also in a position where I was like, I want to come to London to do all these opportunities. I also want to come to see him, so it's like 2 birds 1 stone.
Yeah.
Like I get to come and do the opportunity and see my boyfriend.
It was just quite an intense
But it was intense.
situation.
How did you deal with like, had you guys been in a healthy relationship before?
I hadn't.
I don't know if
Mine was not.
not really.
My ex was not.
No.
Was that toxic?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was a lot older. Well, not a lot. He was like.
He was a lot older.
He was
than you for the time.
27 or something
And
when
he
I
was
was 19, which is not like
So he was basically 10 years older.
pretty much.
That's kind
yeah.
of, I couldn't imagine being a 27-year-old and being like, yeah, let's
A
get on with that
19-year-old.
19-year-old.
Me neither.
When
It's
you
just a
see
bit
19-year-olds
it's
now, you're like
weird.
children.
Like, fair
Yeah.
enough if you're 25 and the other person's like 35.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
you're
different.
both adults. Like,
Exactly,
that have probably lived
19.
a lot.
They're
That's
not
weird.
fully. Well,
You don't have
they're
like
an adult,
a
but they're
beard
not
yet.
mature.
No,
Yeah.
I would have nothing in common with a 19-year-old right now.
So, yeah, I don't know about
Yeah,
But
that.
it's not-
it was
not
like
the
a
vibe.
secret gay sort of
I
thing.
was-
where like
It was like
hadn't
we
come
met
out
on
yet?
Grindr. No, so I was in a secret relationship for nearly 2 years with this person. Like we would,
how wild.
yeah, I don't know how much to say.
Fuck.
We
Oh
would meet
my
up in the
God.
most kind of
I think
creative.
You told me this.
Yeah, I probably
you
did.
did
I don't
tell
know if I
me
want to say it
this.
online, but we would meet up in very creative environments. 'cause
Yeah.
we
That
couldn't
makes
go
it
to-
sound way worse than what it is.
Creative.
Do you
I'm
think?
picturing you like in the bushes.
Probably was.
a few times.
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah, it was just like it wasn't a conventional relationship by
Yeah.
any means, and he would encourage me to not come out because he wasn't out still, and he was obviously in his late 20s, and he was like, "I don't have to do it. No one deserves to know this information about your life," which I was like,
It's a big
"Th-
part
that's
of your
of
life.
course, it's that it doesn't define you, but it's like a big part of you, and you want to be able to talk about your relationship with your friends."
Yeah, you want to be able to have a relationship where like they can meet
can
your
see your
friends
friends,
and
yeah.
you can meet each other's
So
families.
you never saw anyone. It was
So
just
he met
secret.
them, but kind of we broke up because I was like, I can't cope with this. It's negative. I need to like come out and live my life. So I did that. I came out. Then he reached out to me and he was like, "How you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm out now. You should do it as well." And he was like, "Oh, let's start dating." Basically, he bought me a trip to Barcelona to convince me to get back with him. And I got back with him because I felt bad.
Oh shit!
And I was like, oh shit, he's
You
paid
can't
for
be
these
having
flights.
the
I was
guilty.
like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I got back with him, but it wasn't healthy again. But he met my friends, I think, twice during that period. And bless him, it was very awkward. He didn't know how to
Shit.
talk to them, even though he was a lot older than us. But they were making effort. Everyone was taking it in turns to talk to him. But he just could not converse. And then at that moment was when I was like,
That's
oh,
it.
this is not the one for me.
There's
If you
nothing
can't
worse
talk,
than introducing someone that you're with to like friends and they just can't communicate.
Oh
they
no,
just, like,
and
sit
they
there,
just
like,
don't get along.
oh, there's
That is the
nothing
worst.
what I love about you, I love many things, but we can just be at an event and be separate, and you're completely fine. I'm
That's
completely
the thing.
fine.
I would feel really awkward being in a relationship with someone where I can't leave them to do their own
Yeah.
thing. For example, you're living, like for me, I'm in my long distance relationship. If he were to come to London and he's like, I don't know what to do with myself, I'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be your mother.
Yeah,
Like,
no, you don't want to baby someone.
No. And that was the ironic thing about your past relationship is that you were so much younger than him,
but you were
but
like
you were the
looking
one
after
that like,
him.
had to look after him.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, which is like such a weird
It was
dynamic.
it was very toxic in many ways, but
So and then you got with Max, and
Wait,
then
and I got with
I find
Max
it so
2 years
funny that he
later.
went from a 2-year-long secret gay relationship to like the most openly gay person.
Yeah.
I know, it really put me through the ringer when I first met you. I was like, oh, this is in like a public forum. This is kind of weird.
But did you feel like at any point doubts, or were you just like
Not doubt 'cause
fully like and this is the love of my life? Like, did you
I
know
loved
instantly?
him a lot that I didn't care about it, but it did I did care about it, but I didn't let it stop me.
When I met Andrew, he was never shy like in social situations. Like when he met my friends, so chatty, so everything. But like the gay part of him was like,
Oh, it was still made me
couldn't-
uncomfortable.
It would make him uncomfortable.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
even now, like he doesn't like to like hold my hand in public, and like
Really?
I want
I'm not
that.
a tactile
Do you remember
person.
when we were
but
always
he is,
going out
though.
there and I'm like, kiss?
Yeah,
Does he
yeah,
never
yeah.
kiss?
No,
I
but
said
it's
that last
kiss
time.
now.
Just go and kiss.
But it's him though.
Yeah.
Like, I would want that. He won't. And but when I first met him, that hurt me.
My
and
parents
I
never were those. I don't even think
my
I do.
parents
They're
have
not
been divorced
PDA.
since I was
My
five.
parents not
Really?
at all.
Yeah, it doesn't like. I don't think it.
My
that
parents
you
do.
I
are.
do think it does. I think it sets an example for you in a sense. It's not to do that. No matter who
That you
I've
can
been
love
with.
someone without showing them all the time that
Yeah,
you
like
love
I do
them.
it at home, and I just not in public. I just feel uncomfortable by that.
Yeah, but when I
regardless
first met
of-
you, you were like embarrassed to even say like, "Oh, I've got a boyfriend," or like we would like go to
I
a
don't know about
restaurant.
that.
Yes, you were. When I first met you, you definitely were. And then like once we started to get like more official and stuff, I remember you were really panicky the day that like I posted you online for the first time because it was like, whoa. I remember him
How
saying
long did you
something.
wait?
I mean, we like
Before
I said,
you
we spoke,
posted
we
him?
spoke
It
for like
was-
2 months before we even met. So and then we were officially together within like a month and a half after that, weren't
it was
we?
a couple months.
A month and a half.
We said I
That's
love you on
quite
that day.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it was very intense. Like we
Also,
moved.
like I lived by myself in London, so it was kind of like we spent a lot of time, and because it was COVID, nothing was open.
Yeah,
was
and
no
also nothing was
distractions.
normal during COVID. I feel like
No.
loads of people were in like very intense, myself being in like the most toxic relationship I'd ever been in,
Yeah.
because you don't have really any sense of reality. You're like, well, the world's fucked anyway. Like,
Yeah.
may as well just like live my life. Do you know what I
Literally,
mean?
That's what we were like. We
were in a
we were
vacuum.
loving each
Well,
other's
you
company.
made it out of
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah.
Lots of people
That's the
didn't
thing, a
make
lot
it
of
out of
people
COVID.
If you can survive that, you can survive anything.
Well, yeah, because then
so.
you go back to reality and you're like, how are we going to adjust to like being back to normality?
Yeah, and it was, but it was almost like my reality of my life changed so much since I met Andrew.
Yeah.
That like I literally went from nobody knowing who I was to like when I went back to uni, I ended up dropping out because I'd go to my lectures and people would be like asking for pictures or like taking
Can you
pictures.
imagine how
And it
weird
would
that
make
would
me
be?
so uncomfortable. And we'd go on like a student night out and they literally
Yeah.
accused us of like inciting a riot. And I was like bleeding on my neck. from people
Why?
Trying to
Oh,
grab.
yeah.
'Cause
No.
I got all my followers during COVID and then the world opened up and then I went back to uni instantly.
Yeah.
So I'd never actually even met a
You
follower.
didn't, yeah, you
I'd never
didn't
met
know.
anyone.
Yeah.
On
And
our
it was-
first date was your first selfie that anyone took with you,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
On our first date, it was the
Which
first
I was
time I met
like,
someone
can
in
you
public.
imagine? My brain was like, what is going on? This someone wants a photo with you.
Yeah.
I was
and I'm
so
just meeting
confused.
him for the
I
first
was so
time.
confused. I was like, why do you
I
want
took
to
the
just
picture?
like, I
I took the
make
picture.
TikToks.
Yeah, I was
I was
so
like, I'll
baffled.
take it.
Yeah, you
Charge
did.
me $5.
But no,
You
and
are
then,
official photographer for
Of
Max.
course.
and then
It's a
when
full-time
when I
job.
dropped out of uni, I moved back to London, and then got a flat in Clapham with my best friend. And then like 6 months into that,
Yeah,
you
less
moved
than a
in with
year.
us, and then we got a house together last
Now
summer.
you've got a house
Yeah,
together.
the rest is
Crazy.
history.
You've been
It
together
is.
for like 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
coming up to 3 years.
it's wild.
We're just going to take a pause there and we'll be back after this break. Like, what's the biggest lesson you've learned
That
being
is
in
messy
a
as fuck.
being in a long-term relationship? But also, when did you know that you were each other, like the one for
Very
each other?
quick for me, not to
Yeah.
be cringe, but that it was very quick for me.
Like how long?
I felt like I loved him after like a month. Remember,
Really?
we'd be in bed.
Where you were
we'd
like,
watch-
this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life.
Oh, I don't know about that. At that point, no.
Do you still know about that?
No, I know about that now. No, at that point, I don't think I thought that far ahead. But my
No.
brain had
Yeah.
never ever thought that far ahead for anyone. So it was kind of like,
I feel
I
like
dunno.
as a woman, I feel like I really definitely look really far into the future, and that almost fucks up my relationships because I
You're
almost
planning ahead too
sabotage and
much,
I
yeah.
put so much pressure. I'm like, oh my god, is this the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Like,
have
I'm
kids with and do all
never
those
going to be
things,
single
yeah.
ever again.
I
Like,
think I'd never done that, and the longest relationship that I'd had before that was like 9 months, and now
Yeah.
we've been together for 3 years. And it's like every time that we hit like a milestone, we literally talk to each other, don't we? And we're like, God, we're still just like together, and everything,
Yeah, like,
and
we're still
everything's
doing
fine,
this.
and like we're having a really good time.
Yeah.
and
It's wild.
it's so weird.
it is weird to think that we spend a lot of time together
well,
because
you
obviously our
literally
jobs
live
are like
together.
yeah, live
Yeah.
together. Jobs are kind of unconventional jobs where we can spend a lot of time together, go to the same events.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of
You do
like, how
everything
have we not run
together.
out of conversation? I always say to him,
How
the
do you
fact
not
we
kill each
still have
other?
stuff-
No.
Well,
we
do
bicker a lot.
sometimes.
We
But
bicker a
I
lot,
think
but
that's important, you know?
Oh, it is.
We
No,
vent
I-
through bickering.
I
Basically.
100%. When I first met Andrew, he was not like a bickerer, and like
And
I
you love a
am.
bicker.
I am. Like I love to like.
the
I love
most.
to just poke fun at it, just to like poke him. I know what will wind him up,
Yeah.
and then I enjoy that, and he sometimes gets annoyed, but I just find it so much fun.
You
Makes
get a
sense
thrill
to-
out of just
Yeah.
being annoying.
And
basically.
when we like first started like properly dating, he couldn't understand that. He thought that like we were actually arguing all the time, and he would be like, "I just hate that we're arguing." I was like, "We're not arguing." Like me making fun of you.
I'm quite
because of-
patient and peaceful, but you would push it. Like you would push it.
Yeah.
You would test my patience, and I'd be like, I don't want to argue with my partner, but you'd be like, it's not deep. Like it
We're
isn't
not
deep.
arguing.
And
If we were
Yeah.
arguing,
It would
like,
never be
how
deep.
dare
Spices
you
it
do
up.
this,
Do
then
you
yeah,
know
it
what
was,
I mean?
it was never deep. And to
No.
be fair, now like we don't have big arguments usually. It's more just like
Daily, mundane
yeah,
things.
Yeah, it's
exactly,
really
which is
nothing.
fine. I can cope. With
I
that.
think it brings a little bit of spice to the relationship.
Yeah.
A little bit
100%.
bickering.
Like
Getting
if
a bit
I,
pissed off at each other, and then
and
you
now
make
that-
up.
yeah,
and
now
it's
that
like,
we live together,
My
if-
mum's watching this, so behave.
now that we live together, I actively find it fun to like come home and like if Andrew's done something stupid, like for example, Chiara, just to give you a bit of insight of what I live with.
what I live with.
What's that supposed
He's
to
a
mean?
He'll do stuff. So
monster.
like I went away last week and I'll be like, oh, like I came home and there was no washing. Like Andrew likes to just like leave things and like
Oh,
not do
Chiara.
washing.
Are
and
you a
stuff
bit of
like
a
this.
mess,
Yeah,
babe?
no, he is, but he pretends like he's not. But he
Are
is.
you a mess?
I'm not that, but I'm not as bad as him.
Oh,
That
wait,
face?
This
Easily
no.
not as bad as him.
You have some
Anyway.
Who's
nerve.
messier?
So I
Who's
was-
messier?
No. Oh my God, Andrew,
Max.
Andrew, come on, let's not do this.
I'm just gonna.
So anyway,
No.
I came back from this trip and the utility room had no washing in it. I was like, oh my God, Andrew's done all the washing. Like,
yeah.
did not
see?
expect that.
Look
That's
at that,
amazing. About 2 days later, I am like just looking for something in the dining room, and there's a huge pile of just dirty clothes in the corner of the dining room.
Whose
So
clothes
he
are
hadn't
they?
done the washing. Oh, are they all mine? First of all,
those
you're probably wearing my clothes right now, so
No, my mum
Buster.
got me this for Christmas. These are
Right,
mine.
okay. So not only had he not done the washing, but he just so that it looked like he had done the washing, he'd moved it all into the dining room. So that's what I deal with.
Lies and fabrications, but I'm just gonna rise above it. That is not true.
That is true.
That isn't true.
What
They
happened
were
then? Why were they there?
they were there because the people that were gonna come and fit the stuff in the utility room need to get into it. So I moved all the washing out of there, put it somewhere
Ah.
else. So it wasn't in the way.
Makes sense.
And they're all your clothes. He came back and he went, I need something to wear. He wanted specific trousers to wear for a certain thing. I went, why haven't you washed them? I went, they're your trousers. Sorry, I didn't realize I knew you wanted to wear them for said event. Like, why didn't you wash
Do
them?
you know what? I'm not trying to get into a physical altercation on this podcast, so
Well, I
let's
am.
just move
So,
on.
so let's go outside. I'll meet you there. in
No,
5
but I
minutes.
mean,
Andrew's
they're the
ready
sorts
for a
of
fight.
things. we
it's
like.
never that deep. It's
No.
just about washing.
But I feel like when you love each other, you also are allowed to nitpick at each other. And
Love
annoy
is
each other.
about compromise.
you
This
can't-
is compromise.
But if you can't take the piss out of each other and you can't argue and you can't get over it, then the relationship's not really that stable, is it?
No,
Because you're
I
just
agree.
constantly walking on eggshells, being like, oh no, he wouldn't like if I said
I
that.
think that just ties into how we communicate. We take the piss a little bit in like a funny way, and that's just the way we laugh with each
Yeah,
other.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't ever hurt me on
No.
a deeper level.
See, that's the thing. I've never dated an English guy, for example.
Really,
and,
I've only
like,
ever dated English people, and I never intended to do that.
That's the one thing. Like, I don't have that sarcastic humor in my relationship.
You're
I-
quite. Are you sarky? I don't know.
Not really. Like, just
I
because
feel
like
like you
can, you're a
defo
bit dry.
I
can,
can
like-
be mean, but
You can be
I'm
mean,
not
I've seen.
witty. I can be
you
mean.
can be.
But I feel like you're funny. Like you can like,
I feel like
have a
you're-
dig at someone
I feel like
and
you're
make it funny.
yeah.
I can just be mean.
I don't think you're mean. I think you're like unintentionally funny. Like for example,
Yeah,
literally
like I don't mean it
as
in
we
a ditzy way.
as we sat down to do this, Chiara literally said to me like, because I was just in LA at this event, and she was like, "Oh my god, I loved your outfit. Like when you were at that event in LA, it's so different to what you normally wear." Which that is not a
Basically
nice
means
thing
you
to
dress
say.
like shit normally.
No, we're different in a good way.
No, but that's
exactly.
But then I don't know if that's intentional. Like, is that
No, it's
intentional?
not.
It's
No.
not intentional.
It just
That's
accidentally
hilarious.
comes
I
out.
just accidentally say
A bitch,
things.
It's
so
like,
funny though.
Yeah,
So
you
funny.
know,
No, it's
just
brilliant.
like-
That's
We
why
love
we
you
love
for
you.
it.
That's why we love you.
Well, there you go. And with my boyfriend, like he's Turkish, so it's also quite different because he speaks a completely different language. So like
Yeah.
Right.
humor for him is like, how the fuck can you have humor in a
I've
language
always
that's
found
not
British
your own?
humor, it's
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
British humor is very specific. I feel like it doesn't translate necessarily with a lot of the
Even
European
in
countries.
America.
I don't get
Like-
American humor personally.
No.
Neither do I, but they
I
don't
think it's
get
just so
ours.
slapstick.
No, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
really cringy. Have you ever
Yeah.
been to an
Basic.
American comedy show?
No, but I've seen like clips and I just couldn't. No,
It's
not for me.
very like
Obvious.
obvious
yeah.
and cringe and slapstick. Whereas I don't. Do you know Daniel Sloss?
No.
He's this like comedian. He's Scottish, and I watched his show last night. I just got back from Istanbul, and he did a show in Istanbul, and his humor is super like rude and sarcastic, but like it's so funny.
Yeah, I love that.
To be funny, you have to be a bit rude.
Oh my god! Like when I
Like,
first
you
started
have to
making
be-
content, I was like not being rude, but so inappropriate, and would like say
Because
the
that's what
wildest
you'd
things.
say to your
didn't
closest
censor,
friends.
You would never say anything that bad, but you never.
No, it would be
you
like
wouldn't
about
censor
me.
yourself.
I
yeah,
wouldn't
it's
say
more
stuff like about other
self-deprecating.
people,
Yeah.
but like it would be like self-deprecate, but I would like really go in or like stuff like that. Whereas nowadays it's annoying.
Cool.
Oh well, here we are, baby.
We're here, and we're here for a reason.
Yes.
And haters always gonna hate.
Exactly.
And if the haters stop hating, it's because you're not doing it
It
right.
means you're irrelevant.
Absolutely.
It means you're irrelevant, exactly.
Yes.
So with the day they stop, or the day
You fell off.
people are not jealous anymore, that's it.
Oh,
So
God.
what are the plans for the future of Max
Marriage,
and Andrew?
kids.
Do you have marriage on the cards, or is
Yeah,
that
we do.
you would want to get married?
yeah, I would.
Yeah, we've said. We
Yeah.
speak about that
I
quite a
know.
lot, but I mean, it's not going to happen.
Oh,
Don't
who
bring
would
it up a lot.
propose?
Well, that's been a point of contention.
Me.
Well, no, so
I've
Andrew,
said from the beginning I want it to be me,
so
but he's
but,
not
like,
letting me do it.
remember back when I said like Andrew, especially since when I met him, was like uncomfortable with the traditions of, oh my gosh, what if these people think that we're in a gay relationship? Oh my god, like stuff like that.
You're making me sound homophobic.
No, but you have that they call it internalized homophobia, where like you are taught like subconsciously throughout your life
it's wrong.
that what you're doing is wrong. And then he was in a relationship with someone that for 2 years told him, oh my god,
We have to
we're-
hide
we're
everything.
gonna hide this.
Yeah.
So that definitely carries over even now. Like, and you
100%.
can't say that it doesn't, because like the fact
I
that you
don't
won't.
think so much now. The
No, but
shit I
that's
put out
you-
online.
Yeah, but there's one
Like-
thing online: you would never walk into a restaurant holding my hand.
Maybe physical touch is not his love
It
language.
No, but it is though.
It isn't.
I
Is
live
it?
with him.
No,
yeah, it
no,
is.
it's was it
That's
acts
not
of
true.
service? Is that one?
Acts of service,
Yeah, that is which
words
he
of
doesn't do.
affirmation.
Bullshit, mate.
Words of affirmation you like. no,
but
I'm
no,
not physical touch.
But like, so for example, when it came to like proposals and things like that, I've said I would love to do a proposal because I just think I would plan it something so good and it would mean so much to me.
What, better
and
than Andrew?
he set the
I
camera
can
up.
do it
get
better than you.
Yeah. No, but then Andrew was like, "Hard no, I need to do that," and I was like, "Well, why?" And when I tell him, it's like he can't give a reason.
I
but
can.
In my opinion,
I've
it's
got a
because he's
reason.
got like the internalized idea that that makes him look feminine if he's getting proposed to, and like that goes against again the things that he's like subconsciously had in his mind that like.
What do you think about that?
got a rebuttal for that.
Go on.
I've said to you multiple times that it's got nothing to do with that. Well, I can't say nothing because I don't know, like internalized stuff. I don't know quite what is deep repressed within my brain. But what I can say is, I said he has done so much for me and done so many big gestures, big gifts, and kind of, you know, obviously you're successful. You've allowed me to come into really cool spaces. I think that's my one opportunity to do something really nice for you, and it's like a special moment that I want
Don't
to have.
say, oh, that's
It's
such
true.
bullshit.
Oh,
No,
Max,
go
I've
come
ahead.
told you
on,
many times.
Max.
It's something that I want to have control of, and I'm like, I think that would be a really lovely thing for me to do for you.
Well, then you
Gotta
can-
get down on one knee.
you can plan.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Why don't I propose to you, but you plan the entire holiday that we do it on and pay for the
Do
entire
you really
holiday?
want to propose?
I do.
And you really want to propose?
Yeah, I do.
So someone's got to get there first.
I think. Do you know what actually
No, I
happens
know
in
what you're
some?
gonna say
Do you know what
now.
happens in some gay couples? I've seen it happen where, like, obviously, if you both as a couple know kind of when you're at the point where you're going to get engaged, and then say if you had a trip or something, or like an area that was like sentimental to you. I've seen some videos of gay couples where they're both at, like, say, a landmark or a restaurant that means a lot to them, and they both
Pull
go
the
to
ring out
propose at the same time, and they
Ah.
don't realize that each other have planned it.
And he thinks we're going to do
Oh.
it at Disneyland.
No, I don't.
It's not happening.
I do not want that to happen.
in front of all those people. Would you
Yeah, I
want to do
know.
it public or private?
Private for me.
I think
I
private.
don't- I don't
I would want
mind.
private. You would like public.
I wouldn't mind
Of course
public.
you would.
Babe,
I'm not letting
Who
you
says
propose.
I love myself.
and we're live
babes?
streaming it.
I'm not, so you want to
On
propose to me,
Snapchat.
but
No,
you
I
want to
want
do
it-
it publicly,
I want
even
it-
though
I
you know I want it
privately.
private.
No, I want it privately. No.
It's happening privately.
And then kids.
Kids,
I
I
want
want
kids.
kids. When I
Want
met him, I
two.
wasn't entirely
want
sure.
two?
I definitely want more than one. Thing is, when I met him, kids wasn't like, oh my god, I want kids. Like I'd never,
Yeah, you weren't fussed.
I
But then you
never
were
thought about it.
not young, but you were
I was
younger.
21. That's quite young. I just turned
21?
22 actually.
22.
I just turned
But
22.
even now, like honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I put the coil back in. I
If
don't
you-
think I could handle it right
If-
now.
and I definitely want kids.
I
When I
do,
met him,
yeah.
I wasn't sure. But now that I've been like in a long
When I met him, I wasn't sure.
But
But
now
now
it's
he's
like
come round to
now
it.
I can see like what it would look like raising a child with Andrew.
Well,
I'm
now
like,
you
oh, I
have the
actually
house to
want
do that. In.
Exactly.
Like that house
very
that you've
true.
got together is going to be the house that you have.
Well,
No,
I don't know
it's
about
not.
that.
No?
no.
it's
I
not
think
big
by the
enough.
time we have kids, we wouldn't do it for a while.
Yeah. When would you want like?
Oh my God,
in
30?
the-
Andrew
30s.
literally wants it like. If you asked him like next year, he'd be like, "Yeah, well,
I
like,
get I'm
Really?
really
So
broody.
bizarre.
Are
Yeah.
you?
But I'm a bit old, you know. I'm 27 now, so it's like that's an age.
I
people have
could-
That's
children
still
at.
young though.
No, I know. I don't
Like
want.
for
I
now.
don't really want them.
I'm
like,
gonna
as
have
in,
to
I
be,
would
like,
like the idea of
33.
them, but
33.
So then that'll
Um,
make him 35.
I, could
That's
live
I feel like
that.
that's
That's fine
decent.
with me.
See, I thought I wanted to like get married and have kids now. I don't know. As a woman, we have this pressure of like you need to get
Yeah.
married and have
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Like
course.
now,
You have the
also
literal
my
body clock
boyfriend's
as
fucking
well.
Turkish. Imagine he's like, I'll go down right now on one
Right,
knee.
yeah, yeah.
Like, let's go. Let's have kids. Let's do it.
And how old is he?
He's 34.
Okay,
Is
so
he-
he's gonna be more
so
ready.
But
he's
for that.
ready?
he's been married before.
Oh yeah, I
Has
remember you
he?
saying. I remember
Yeah.
you saying. Yeah.
Wow, he's got no kids.
No kids. He
Yeah.
never wanted kids.
Oh really?
Never
Does he
wanted kids.
now?
I think, yeah.
Oh, you've
yeah,
changed
because his
him.
sister's just had her baby. So he's an uncle now. So
Right.
he's
Oh,
seen
so
the
now he's
baby and
seeing
he's
it for
like,
the first time.
that's
Mm.
not too
That's the best way to
bad.
have a kid, though, is just be an uncle and auntie. I think because you just get
Well,
all
I
the
have a little
privileges with
brother.
none of the diaper change.
Yeah,
Ah,
but I have a
your
little brother,
brother's
he's
quite
10.
Younger than you, isn't he?
And like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I
Yeah.
love my brother, don't get me wrong, but like raising a kid is like,
I think it's different when it's like.
so, and childbirth, you guys don't have to go
Yeah,
through
true.
that.
Thank the Lord.
You just
honestly.
get it. Are you going to adopt or like have a
I don't know.
I'm
but
open
surrogate?
to it. We'd try.
Is it
I would-
surrogate? Do
I
you
would-
do
yeah.
surrogates?
yeah. It's definitely hard and it costs a lot of money
It's
for
expensive.
people. Like
Like 50K.
more than that, like over 100 grand. So
Stop.
from what I've
Do we
heard,
know-
it can easily get to that, especially because you can do it, and
Is
that
it
doesn't mean that the
IVF?
embryo's going to take. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know if the embryo's going to take, and then you have to,
You have to
keep
do it
paying for
again.
more rounds.
It's
and
a long
everything, and it's-
process, I think.
You also have to
yeah.
find someone, and then you have to pay them like a salary almost to like have your baby for you. So many
Ah.
legalities
Yeah, it's
involved. It's really
crazy.
difficult.
But yeah, we're not quite at that phase yet. So
No.
don't
No,
don't jump
same,
the gun,
honestly. I
Chiara.
put the coil back in and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm just going to focus on my career right now.
As you should. As you
You've got
should.
We
time.
all are.
Indeed.
We're all going to be superstars
Absolutely.
together. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you for
Thank
having
you
us.
for having
So
us.
nice
We've
to
loved it.
divulged too much. We've bickered,
Yeah.
but we love each other
Yeah.
ultimately.
You do.
So
I
it's-
see that. And you are my fucking favorite couple. I'm
Oh,
not going to
we
lie.
love
Like,
you.
literally,
We
every
love
time I
you.
see
Can we
them,
do a
I'm like,
night out
kiss,
soon,
kiss,
please?
kiss. Every time I see them and we go out, I'm like, you guys are my
You've got to pay for that.
Oh, we love you.
We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining and love you all.
Bye.
I want